amazing, insightful keynote which we heard. And next, we are going forward with a very special guest. And you know, when we speak of Web3 and we especially speak of banking here in Switzerland, who else is more important than the Swiss National Bank itself? So in the next keynote, you'll be hearing from the advisor of the Swiss National Bank, from Robert Oleschak. He will be speaking to you about the Swiss National Bank's views on the utilization of the technology for banking, wholesale CBDCs, and other initiatives. Please put your hands together. I'm very pleased to welcome you on stage, Robert.
Thank you. Thank you. So let me thank the Crypto Valley Association for inviting me to this event, to this beautiful event. As mentioned before, I'm a central banker, so I hope I can bring you some new perspectives, what central banks are doing in the blockchain space and why actually we are involved in this area. Of course, any views expressed today here are only mine, so they do not necessarily reflect those of the Swiss National Bank. So with that out of the way, let's start with the presentation. And I think one of the reasons why central banks are involved in looking at blockchain, distributed ledger technology, is because tokenization of assets is taking shape, it's gaining momentum. So this is an estimate by McKinsey which says that in 5 years, the overall market capitalization of tokenized assets will be around $1.9 trillion US. Will this happen? We don't know. But Switzerland is one of the leading centers in the adoption of tokenized assets in the regulated sphere. So for central banks, one of the important questions that we ask ourselves is, how can these transactions in tokenized assets be settled in central bank money? And this is important for 2 reasons. The first reason is that settling in central bank money removes for you the liquidity and credit risk, because there's nothing safer than using central bank money. And also, it supports the role of central banks as the anchor of the financial system. Now, what is central bank money after all, and why is it so important? So let me show you this little picture that we have created a few years ago. And the central bank, shown here at the bottom in dark blue, issues money in the form of cash and sight deposits. Cash everyone can hold, but sight deposits only regulated financial institutions are able to hold. So this is the blue area shown here in the half circle, and the relationship between the Swiss National Bank or central banks and the financial institutions. Now, financial institutions, they can issue commercial bank money, and commercial bank money is used when you do everyday payments through your bank account. So you are using not central bank money, but you are using commercial bank money, which is created by financial institutions. And importantly, the financial institutions are the connecting factor between the blue area, where the central banks are active, and the green area, which is settling payments across the whole economy. Now, innovations can happen in both areas, in the blue area and in the green area. The things I have heard today, I think mainly concern the green area, but today I will talk about the blue area. And I will talk about 2 projects. So one project is Project Helvetia, or the pilot Helvetia, where we are a central bank issuing wholesale CBDCs on Swiss Digital Exchange, which is a private platform where assets are tokenized, and we are actually offering the opportunities to settle the transactions of these assets in central bank money. And the second project I will be talking about is Project Promissa. It's a little bit different use case, but I think nevertheless fascinating and also nicely connected to Helvetia. So the first thing I want to show is, how do we connect the old world with the new world? What you see in front of you are 2 boxes. On the left side is the Swiss Interbank Clearing System. This is the current payment system where all the interbank payments are settled. So just to give you a perspective, in the SIX system, every day transactions worth more than 200 billion Swiss francs are settled. So any financial institution which is in the SIX system and is also member of the SDX platform can issue wholesale CBDCs. How do they do it? They just transfer money from their accounts at the SMB to a technical account at the SMB, and the SMB operates a node on the SDX platform. They issue wholesale CBDCs and transfer that on the node of the bank so that they can use it immediately to settle transactions. Here in this example, a DVP transaction with Bank 2, where they exchange tokenized assets for wholesale CBDCs. Now, the Helvetia pilot is running. The goal of the Swiss National Bank is to support private sector innovations. We also want to provide a certain planning certainty for the financial institutions, so we are running the pilot at least for 2 years. And also we want to leverage and make sure that there's an interoperability between the old world and the new tokenized world. We have seen until now 8 use cases, so 8 issuances of digital bonds with a total value of more than 1 billion Swiss francs. What is interesting, the issuance of the bonds, city of Lugano is one of the important issuers. So thanks a lot for being part of that. And also we had the cantons of Basel-Stadt, Zurich, St. Gallen, and also the World Bank has issued digital bonds on the SDX platform. We've also conducted monetary policy transactions using SMB bills, but we are also looking into expanding the use cases in the future. In terms of the participants, you see there are 8 banks currently being members of the platform and using also wholesale CBDCs. The BLKB, the Baselländische Kantonalbank, has just recently joined this week, and tomorrow they will actually settle a new transaction using wholesale CBDCs. Now let me talk about the second project, Project Promissa. It is a project by the BIS Innovation Hub, together with the World Bank, the Swiss National Bank, and the IMF is acting here as observer. The main goal of this project is to make the funding model of the World Bank and other development banks more efficient. So why is it? What is the issue today? One of the 2 most important sources of funding for development banks are the member contributions of countries. So countries are paying the World Bank every 3 years or every year a certain amount, and this is the equity of the bank, and based on that they are issuing also bonds to increase their funding. Just to give you a perspective, the World Bank, by using these 2 funding channels, is receiving $100 billion every 3 years. Now, the borrowing aspect is already quite efficient. The World Bank is also looking at issuing digital bonds, as I have said, in Project Helvetia and in also other blockchain platforms. But the equity, the member payments, is very inefficient. So just let me give you some perspectives of how that works. So the payments are made either through cash or by using promissory notes. And in the case of World Bank, most of the countries are using promissory notes. These are paper-based instruments. And these promissory notes are stored in the vaults of more than 100 central banks across the world. Any payment that involves the physical handling of these vaults, these promissory notes need to be taken out of the vaults. Someone needs to write on the back that the payment has happened. So you have a lot of inefficiencies, and also several parties within the central bank, within the Ministry of Finance, and at the World Bank are involved for each of the payments. So this is really, really inefficient. And what we have done in the project is building a proof of concept where we are moving from the paper straight into distributed ledger technologies. Now on the right side, you see the POC, the proof of concept or high-level design that we have built. So each party that is involved in a transaction operates a node, And they also have a front end where they see that information and they can do certain actions. And so you have the Ministry of Finance, which is the promisor. You have the central bank, which is a custodian and a payment agent for the Ministry of Finance. And you also have the World Bank, which is receiving the money. Now, we have not only built this for the SMB, for the Swiss Ministry of Finance, and for the World Bank, but also we have tested it across the world. So we had several nations being part of the testing. We have also other development banks, the Asian Development Bank, which was also part of the testing. And I think the result was very convincing. We could show that the efficiency gains are very high. But for that, let me show you one of the feedbacks we have received from a central banker. So to be honest, my heart is beating higher right now because I see a huge improvement regarding the really, really complicated reconciliation that it simply becomes obsolete. And I think if a central banker is talking about the hearts beating high right now, that I think we thought we are really onto something here. So let me close with one remark and conclude. I think technological innovations such as tokenization may help to make the financial system more efficient. And if the tokenization of assets becomes mainstream, settlement in central bank money is very important. And even though currently the tokenization is a niche phenomena compared to the size of the traditional financial market, central banks are already involved because they need to be ahead of the game and be ready if this becomes a reality. Thank you very much.